Join me now for Science 101 as Dr. Ranahan attempts to make me at least understand how a typical reishi mushroom could turn into a cancer fighting weapon. Okay, how did you train a reishi mushrooms to eat cancer cells? What are their normal food sources? What is a
Yeah,
mushroom's metabolic process?
it sounds kind of weird.
Yeah.
I admit it sounds weird. But remember, so fungi, they don't have mouths like we
No.
do. They're not like plants. They can't make their own food. So whatever food source they're on, they have to figure out how to break it down and then absorb the nutrients back.
Okay, so it's
And
like
so,
stealing the nutrients from whatever they're on?
yeah, they have
Okay.
to not only steal, but they have to break it down. They
Mm,
have to like digest it externally. And
okay.
so knowing that, we said, okay, well, we'll start them off on the food that they normally like, and then we'll slowly remove that food and begin to introduce them to cancer cells. And within about 6 weeks, we had reishi growing on just cancer cells in an incurable form of breast cancer. And that's how we discovered what we're calling the active ingredient in reishi that kills cancer cells.
Okay, so what is the normal environment that a mushroom like would extract from first that you
Well,
had to
yeah,
change?
most mushrooms are going to be living on logs or they're going to be
Okay.
living on decaying plant matter.
Okay.
So they're not like normally living on people or cancer cells or anything like
Right.
that.
Okay, well
Uh,
now but so explain to me then in layman's terms, the extraction process of of taking the mushrooms and getting them to
yeah.
yeah, eat this.
Getting them to give the product. Yeah, yeah. So normal extraction would be to harvest the mushroom, to dry it out, powderize it, and then put different chemicals on to try to get out your product of
Okay.
interest. We didn't do that. What we do is we grow the live mycelia. So this is the root form of the
Okay.
mushroom. And
Okay.
we grow that live in the lab, and then we figured out while it's alive how to get it to give us the product. So it
And
actually,
that must be difficult, right? If you're trying to keep it alive and still
yeah,
extract
it's a
from it?
little tricky. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little tricky, but it's totally doable and
Mm.
scalable. So we've been able to reproducibly get the compound out of reishi that is directly killing cancer, concentrate that, and formulate it.
And
It's
within
pretty awesome.
6 weeks, it was able to eat only cancer
Yeah,
cells.
it was just living on just cancer cells. So we knew that whatever it was releasing was
Mm.
definitely able to rupture cancer cells so that it could eat. And
Wow.
so we captured that compound. We've tested it on both cancer, multiple cancer types, and normal tissue. And that's the big deal is that
And
on,
that was my next question.
yeah,
Okay, if it's gonna you're the biggest thing you're always worried about is if it's gonna kill cancer, is it also going to damage the normal
yeah.
tissue?
Yeah, I remember my nephew suffered dramatically from chemotherapy, our best
Mhm.
efforts, right? So I was
Right.
really focused on testing this on normal tissue types.
Mhm.
So when you put it on normal tissue types, the normal cells eat it like a vitamin. And
Wow.
so their energy levels go up. We directly measure the energy of the cells. In a
Wow.
normal tissue, it goes straight into the cell and the energy goes right up. And they actually have an enhanced vitality of normal tissue. At the same time, the cancer cells, when the compound hits the cancer cells, it ruptures the membrane. It just rips it right open.
It's such a perfect formula, the fact that it'll actually eat only the cancer and then be like a vitamin boost almost to the
Yeah.
rest of the tissue. That what a
Yes.
wonderful balance between the 2.
Isn't that crazy? I just,
It's just crazy. I can't believe you came up with this. Now, I also before we go, we have another, minute here. I wanna talk about your other project where you use snake venom, and I thought that was very interesting. How do you use snake venom and mushrooms?
so one of the fun things I get to do is challenge my students to come up with new ideas, to be open and to pray about it and see what happens, right? So uh, so we know that mushrooms, if you can get them to exchange their genetic material,
Okay.
then they may reproduce. And so we were thinking of all of these medically relevant mushroom species. What if you could like hybridize them and get them to be like super species? And then we found the way to do that is by adding diamondback rattlesnake venom into the media that they're living on, and that facilitates the exchange of the genetic material, which triggers them to grow. And we're trying to come up with new species of mushrooms that we
Mhm.
could use for medicine.
Wow, so interesting. Well, stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk about the next steps for this research.